So, if you follow me on Twitter, you might have noticed over the past few days I've been tweeting like nonstop about a certain game character that just got released for a fighting game called Guilty Gear Strive. And I just want to go over and talk about this and why it's like so important to me and a lot of people in the trans community because it's really big for some of us who are a bit older and remember this character. So this character is Bridget. She's from Guilty Gear Strive, and she was just announced that she was DLC for the game a few days ago at EVO, which is, if you don't know what EVO is, it's just a big fighting game tournament type thing. And people have gone absolutely wild for her, which makes me happy because I've been waiting to see her in another game for almost 10 years. The last game she was in, I think, was in like 2002, 2003. I started caring about her in like 2013 at the very least. That's when that is the year I've been waiting from to see her again. I purchased two of the older Guilty Gear games that she was in that year. At that time I was definitely in my egg phase already. I remember because I had gone through the TV tropes page, the feminine cross-dressing TV tropes page, and the gender bender TV tropes page, and had been looking into both of those. And that is where I found this character. And as you might be guessing by my the language I'm using is that she's been confirmed trans, which is incredible for me. It's made me I cannot communicate how happy this has made me. I've literally not stopped thinking about this for like 4 days since I found out. And I need to tell somebody because otherwise it's just been bouncing back and forth in my brain like that like like the DVD icon. I need to talk about this. I'm so stoked. So I'm going to give a little bit of background on Bridget's character. You might have heard a lot of this already if you've been following this subject. So I'm going to be very, very brief. I will link to other things that cover it in more depth than I do because I'm not the biggest lore person for games in general, but this is more or less like the things we need to know for what I'm going to talk about. So Bridget was born in a extremely religious slash cultish town. She and her brother were twins, both assigned male at birth, and this is something that is bad. This town believes that twins are a curse, so the youngest must be killed or cast out from the village, which, would probably kill them anyway. Her parents didn't want to do this, so they chose to raise her, the younger of the two twins, as a girl, to lie to the town ostensibly. When she got older, obviously, her parents told her she wasn't mad about this. This is a thing that's very clear in like almost everything about her is that she loves her parents a lot and she doesn't hold this thing that they did to keep her alive against them. And her big motivation at this point in the series was that she was going to prove that the curse wasn't real by presenting masculinely, not presenting masculinely, that's not the correct word. She still presents she still dresses femininely but refers to herself with male pronouns, would always correct people when the incorrect ones at the time were used. So eventually she does prove this by becoming a very successful bounty hunter and basically telling the village that the curse doesn't exist. Hooray, that's great. But after this point, she realizes that she has other issues that she has to look into, and that's basically where the story and what I want to cover picks up. And so what I want to do is we're going to watch through all the arcade mode cutscenes for the game, which is basically the first and the last, or the first scene and the last two scenes, something around there. And I'm going to be talking about how they are depicting like the trans struggle because I think it's really, really good. This is probably one of the best depictions I've seen in media about this, and it touches, like, I know sounds incredibly cheesy, but the I've been watching it over and over again and I just cannot stop but feeling happy when I see it. It literally touches my heart, which is it's so rare for me to feel anything from media. So you might understand why I've been obsessed with this. So let's just go there. We're gonna watch through everything. I may cut some things up if I don't really have anything to say about them. I'll also link up to all the videos that I'm using in this video in the description if you want to watch all of them yourselves without the stuff I cut out.
That's all for today. You're a tough cookie. You see any other UMAs, you let me know, little lady.
I'm a boy.
That right?
Okay, I want to talk about this because I feel like a lot of people in their denial phase go through this exact situation is like, I need to tell them that they're, quote, wrong, or what we are told is wrong, and we're not happy about it. Like, we're not happy that we have to tell them this, but we don't know why we feel that way, so we still do it, like, all the time. You can literally hear the, like, the hesitation and the depression in her voice when she corrects him over this. If this is so, like, it hits so close to home, at least for me, and I'm sure for a lot of other people. It's just so, like, it's so realistic.
I'll be back for more later, little lady.
I'm a boy. These girl clothes are, it's a long story.
That's obviously, like, referencing back to the backstory that I referenced earlier, but again, like, listen how much she's hesitating about it. Because, like, the thing is, like, she's been doing this for years at this point, in, like, lore-wise. This is obviously something that's bothering her, and she doesn't know that it's bothering her. It's just the thing. It's this thing in your head. You don't know why you're feeling this thing, but you don't like it. It's so, it's just so relatable.
Let me guess. You're hiding your true self for the sake of other folks.
This. I feel like so many of us have gone through this specific thing. Is like, I don't want to be myself because I'm afraid of what will happen. I don't want to make I don't want to make or lose my friends from my parents or my social situation. It's it's
Bullseye.
How did you know?
I keep telling myself this is what's best for my family.
So this might be an unpopular opinion, but your well-being is more important than your family's thoughts on it. Maybe people may disagree with me there, but if you're going through mental anguish, don't put your family ahead of you. You need to have mental well-being.
I always thought that as long as I kept quiet, things would work out. But it hurts too much. I haven't even told my parents.
That, like, I ignored the feeling for so long. For like, I always told myself when I was a kid and I was feeling dysphoria, there's like, it'll go away. Fast forward 10 years, it's still here. I still haven't told anybody. It's just like, it's not going to go away. It's just there, and you don't know what it is or what's causing it. You might not even know the name for it.
You don't need to tell anyone anything you don't wanna. But if holding it in hurts, that's a UMA of a different color.
He's right. Keeping it in is not healthy, first of all, and two, like, take care of yourself, please, but also don't put yourself in a dangerous situation. Like, talk to someone, please. It's so important.
I know how hard it is to really trust someone, even when they're real close.
Trust? Huh. I guess.
Trusting is so hard. I felt like I could not trust anyone basically my entire life. That's why I never told anyone in my family or that I knew in real life because I knew the background of almost everyone around and I knew I could not trust them. And learning to trust again after being away it's so difficult. I still haven't been able to get over it. I still have like these like mental walls built up around myself that I just cannot let down. I'm so paranoid about everything.
I mean, I...
Know you're running away?
How can you tell?
Yeah. Running away is this isn't obviously like physically running away. It's just pushing down your feelings, ignoring them as much as possible. Just like you busy yourself like she like in lore busied herself with working uh just working as a bounty hunter and it's like, well, if I become successful, this will make me happy, and it doesn't. Success won't make you happy to a certain extent.
I've got some thinking to do. A lot of it. I just don't want to regret anything.
Regret worrying about making a mistake is terrifying. I've talked to a lot of different trans people in different walks of life, and like one of the main things a lot of them struggled with is, what if I regret it? Basically, no one I know has regretted it. It's just this fear that's put into us by like society and like our parents, people who are against us, is just like, well, you're gonna regret it because it's a phase or whatever. It's not a phase. I've been like this for over half my life. Just getting there and pulling off the band-aid, it's so difficult. It's terrifying, really. It's just taking that step is so hard, but once you just have to you get your momentum up and you just keep going.
I'm not the Bridget I used to be either. I made myself a top-class bounty hunter and made loads of money in the process.
You don't look as confident as you sound.
Here I come.
See, like, even there, you hear she's talking about how successful she is, and she is successful, but she's still not happy because she hasn't dealt with what's in here, or here, however you wanna visualize it. Like, even though tons of people just busy themselves with work, and it's not fulfilling for them a lot of the time because you have other problems and you can't get away from your mind forever.
It's true you've grown stronger, yes. But also more hesitant. Is something troubling you?
Troubling me? No. Well, not exactly. I'm happy, but I don't know if I'm really happy.
Happy?
That you will get that. That's a question I would get a lot before when I was in the closet or before I cracked the well, are you happy? I'd say, well, yes, obviously, because that's the answer they want. And like maybe I thought that, but like I wasn't. It's very clearly I was unhappy. But like it's like you don't know. A lot of the times, maybe if you're like me and your emotions don't work properly, you don't even know what happiness feels like because you can't give names to emotions that you don't understand. But like, it's so...
Happiness is difficult to define. However, if you have doubts, then perhaps it's time you take a new step.
A new step?
Never hurts to get a good look at yourself from another angle.
I'll think about it. About my happiness. And my future. Thank you so much. Both of you.
Right? It's so important to try and experiment with things. Lots of people do it. There's nothing to worry about with experimenting. It's fine. You were learning about yourself, and that's what's important. I had my femboy phase for like 2 or 3 years. That didn't work for me. It just wasn't doing it for me. So I just went to where I thought wouldn't make me happy, and it has. Don't be afraid of experimenting. It's good for you.
Stop right there. That's enough.
I don't know what to do. I'm not strong like you, Mr. Kai. I'm too scared of losing what I have.
Losing what you have is terrifying. It's so scary. I haven't quote lost everything I have, but my relationship with my parents is not good anymore. And losing something like that, something you've had like all your life, is it's so scary. There's like no like other there's no better way of putting it, is like losing what you have, your relationships, your friends, your family, or whatever. It's so scary. I can't give advice for it because it's such a big thing. It's just absolutely terrifying.
Running away, huh? Ain't you a little young for a midlife crisis?
Of course I'm running. I'm happy the way I am.
Discretion can be the better part.
Yeah, well, like I was saying before, running away and choosing not to lie to yourself are it's so hard to actually realize that you're doing it because you've probably been doing it your entire life, or you've been like conditioned to know that to suppress the feelings you're having.
Art of valor. But think about it. For the sake of your future self.
For my future self.
This is something that was really important to me, or was really important when I was coming to terms with my egg tracking, is that like I thought about my future, how I wanted to age, or how I wanted people to remember me after I'm gone. It's like I don't want them to remember me this way. It makes me sick. Just think about like how you want to age, how you want to be remembered. It's your future is really important.
But what if I make the wrong decision?
Again, we're so conditioned to think that the decisions we're making are wrong. It's so scary because we've never been like given positive reinforcement for a lot of stuff like this.
You got your whole life ahead of you, kid. Gotta learn to take a hit sometime.
Yeah, sometimes we just have to take it on the shoulder, take it on the face. Life is not nice. It's hard. It's rude. It's violent. But if you can force your way through that, it is worth living the way you are instead of the way people want you to be.
And there are helping hands right in front of you.
I don't want to run scared anymore. If I keep on faking it like this, I know I'll regret it.
Mm-hmm. That was something I was worried about too. Was like I was already like, post puberty by the time I was able to accept it. And I was so tired of faking it, and it's like I don't want to regret my life anymore. It's having like people who are actually helpful like this would have made my life so much easier. All my support network is only through my online friends, no one in person. Just like seeing something like that just really touches me.
So from now on, no matter what, no more lying to myself. Thank you, both of you.
Don't mention it. Happy trails, cowgirl, or, cowboy.
Cowgirl is fine, because I'm a girl.
Sorry, like I don't have anything to add there. It just makes me so happy. Just like seeing someone coming to accept themselves, even though like it's a video game, it's not real, but like it gets me so much.
I sense great hesitance. Are you distressed, perhaps?
Distressed? It's more like I'm conflicted.
There's so much inner conflict. It's just a lot of dealing with what there's a lot of dealing with what you've been told your entire life, and what your feelings are telling you, because they're different, just straight up different.
I just don't know if I should keep living like this.
So you're afraid then of change?
Change is terrifying. I know I've been saying this a lot, but everything about our lives, like almost everything about our lives, is scary, especially initially going into it.
I owe my strength to the power of gears.
So, when you went public about Gears, was it scary? weren't you afraid of what people would say?
No, I wasn't afraid. I didn't want to lie to myself or to my family.
Obviously, here they're using Kai being a gear and telling people that he's a gear as an anecdote for coming out of the closet for her, obviously, and it's another thing that would be very scary. That I'm saying that they're not human and that they're like half whatever a gear is. I'm not a lore person.
I wish I could be like you.
You are strong enough. All that remains is to decide.
Yeah, she just wants to be able to tell people the truth, how she feels inside, and she's just terrified of doing it, which is, you know, it's valid. It's scary.
Have I convinced you yet? No matter what others think, I will not change. Not even if this body turns to gear.
No matter what others think, huh?
What others think doesn't matter. Do what makes you happy. Please. It's so much more important than, you know, worrying about what other people think of you. It's not worth depressing yourself your entire life just because you're worried about what they think.
I'll admit that still scares me a little. But I want to live as my true self. At least that's kind of how I feel now that I've watched you.
So good. Actually coming to the point where you understand that you are suppressing yourself and you want to actually be yourself instead of whatever this thing is that you feel like other people want. It's so heartening to see someone come to that decision. That's basically the whole story mode / arcade mode thing with her. I love it so much. This is like, I rarely get emotional over things, especially games or media, but this is just like, it's hit me like directly in my heart. It's so close to home. It's just so good. I love it so much. There's a few other things I want to talk about with the game's design and with the character herself. It's like, at first, I would just want to go and look at her design and tell you, this is a trans-ass design. I mean, if you look at her, let's just start off with one thing. She's wearing a dysphoria hoodie. I'm wearing one. I'm like always wearing one because it makes me feel better. If you're not aware of what the dysphoria hoodie is, generally it's just like a hoodie. A lot of the times it's a black hoodie that's just way too big for you. And if you like look at her key art, it's way too big. It's huge. It's absolutely massive. A few other things I want to go into, like if you compare her old design and her new design for the, specifically like the headband part of her habit, the old one used to have the male symbol on it, and this one has the androgyny symbol on it, which I'll flash on screen, which is very obvious. And the real big thing is that these weird plus things on her arms say growth on them, and I feel like that's just summing up what they were trying to do with her character with this whole thing, and I think they really did succeed. Seeing her grow like this has just made me so incredibly happy. It's just so good. And also, if like people are still denying that, even like her, like a very like the bio for her in the game has switched. It is now using she her for her, which is just like, if you're arguing against that, just read. The Japanese version says it too. And also, just for the record, all the translation is done by them. Another thing, like, in her bios, it specifically says she dislikes muscles or large muscles. I'm not sure if this is fully intended or not, but that just screams, like, projected dysphoria to me. If she doesn't like this thing that is usually considered very masculine, and if she doesn't like that on other people as well, that is you projecting how you feel about your body as dysphoria, and you getting dysphoria from other people. This is something like I've gone through a lot. And one main last thing is even her theme song, because everyone in this game has a theme song, is also incredibly trans sounding. Now we will just go right through that too.
The town inside me and everyone's voice. Only I'm not there, just watching. watching from afar.
So obviously this is probably like referring to like her mental state, and she doesn't even feel like she's like in her body, maybe, which is very like disassociating with your body is a thing that a lot of people do. It's just like they've completely disconnected from like what they see as their body and what they feel.
I can't go home because I'm afraid something will change.
That is going home, like in any situation, is like going home and after you've come out. I'm not sure at what point in her headspace this song is supposed to represent, but just going home is scary, especially if things are going to change. Change is scary.
I moved on by my own will. I had nothing else I wanted to do. Was it hard? But I didn't hate it. I did not even like. I've been
So like she's achieved her goal and she just doesn't know what to do now.
patient, but it was bearable. I've had the gray haze for a long time though.
This gray haze is dysphoria. It's very obviously dysphoria. A lot of people have to just describe it as like brain fog or whatever, and I think this is a very apt description of it because it's just kind of there and you can't do anything about it.
I never found out what it was. It's my stress, that's for sure.
Yeah, a lot of people just kind of it was like, oh, it's just my stress, it's nothing important. But if you're always stressed, that's important. You should find out what's wrong.
I never wanted to run away. I was very motivated. Then what is this feeling? Who would I ask?
Yeah, a lot of us didn't know what the feeling was, and we had no one to ask because a lot of trans people just aren't in the spotlight. They're a lot of times just relegated off to the side, if even there.
Been patient, but it was bearable. I've had the gray haze for a long time though. I never found out what it was. I taste like vegetables I don't like.
Yeah, that's basically her describing how dysphoria feels to her because it does feel different for everyone.
I've been patient, but it was bearable. I've had the gray haze for a long time though. I never found out what it was. I hate the alarm clock I chose.
Again, just another like anecdote of how it feels specifically to her. Again, like I understand this feeling as like I've gotten so tired of hearing the same thing over and over again.
My body is light. Let's paint the gray haze into sky blue. I know who you are. I'm not leaving you again.
And that's her finally figuring out what's wrong. She realizes the gray haze is dysphoria. She finds out what she needs to do about it, and it's gone. It's so great, just like hearing her overcome her issues through this song. It's just so good. I think that's her describing euphoria. Still feeling. I think that is an incredibly apt description because it that is how it feels. Even if there's like nothing like physically causing it, like light or whatever, you could still feel like the joy from it, even if it's like the middle of the night or whatever. That's the song. That's basically everything I wanted to go over with her. Its character is so important to me. You have like no idea. I have literally not stopped thinking about it since it got announced. This is literally representation is so important. I cannot understate how important representation is. I've seen so many other trans people I know immediately going, "Hey, so what's Guilty Gear like?" After this got announced, there's going to be a big influx of British mains, and fortunately, I'm one of them. This made me start playing Guilty Gear again, and she's immediately replaced both my mains because I really like how she plays. But like other like people who want trans reps in their games, pay attention. Look at how they handled the story. It's just also seen something that's specifically addressing a character's gender as like the main focus is it's so incredible. Actually seeing people not shying away from it, because like most of the time it's not really addressed. It's just kind of off to the side as like a fun little tidbit or whatever. It's so incredible. I love this character so much. I just cannot stop thinking about it. I've also sworn to cosplay her the next convention I go to, so I guess there's that too. Yeah, but that's basically what I wanted to cover. It's so good. If you like fighting games, please please try Bridget. Yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you later this month for the actual monthly video. Bye.